The church and the state are one.
In this video, guys, we'll break down the permanent union of the church and the state. We'll go deep into the roots of it, its inception in the Roman Empire era. We'll also deal effectively with the conservative race hustling tactic of decontextualizing crime when it comes to black criminality, and show why this is a fatal flaw for them and how they pursue that race baiting agenda. And remember, the left has race hustlers as well, but we're dealing with the right today. And we'll also touch on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I had my disagreements with Charlie Kirk, but any individual should be able to discuss and discourse and engage with the other individuals without having their life snuffed out by an assassin's bullet because they disagree. So with that being said, allow us to dive in. We must come to understand when it comes to the church and the state, you can see that playing out in your court system today. There has never been a separation between the church and the state, although the Constitution of this nation says that should be. The church and the state are one. The church is an arm of the state, and it's used to control, to direct, and to guide individuals into a certain type of mindset that allows them to respect the government, to follow the government, even though that government may be engaged in things that are against the best interest of the majority of its citizenry, which we have with the United States government as a whole, not just the Republicans, not just the Democrats. It's both parties that are undermining the success of the masses of its citizens. So when you deal with uniting the church and the state, it is done by the state in order to unify a certain base of people. It would like to unify all of the people up under that umbrella because it's easier to control when you are able to get individuals to come to an agreement under a religious banner, and you, the state, adopt that religion as your religion. And Christianity is the religion of this United States government. There is no separation between the church and the state, and that should be a red flag, and it is a red flag. But you have been conditioned to follow things and follow the hierarchy of authority and accept what they tell you when it's obvious and conspicuous right before your eyes that the church and the state are one. All you have to do is go into the courtroom. They have you put your hand on a Bible, a book written by men, a religion consecrated and established as one by the state of Rome, the Roman Empire, the same empire that is said to have crucified Jesus a few years earlier. So you have to come to understand that the church and the state are one. And you can also see it in this tax exemption thing that they have going on, where these individuals, churches, which have become big businesses. You have individuals like Kenneth Copeland, I think worth over $750 million, and he is taxed. This is the union of the church and the state, and this is how powerful that union is. Now, let's give you a little bit of backdrop, then we're going to move on. Again, in 313 CE, Emperor Constantine decided that he would legalize Christianity in order to try to unify the divergent groups of Christians into one. Again, if you can unify individuals into one, it's easier to control if your mindset is to control and manipulate and solidify the power of the Roman government. So this is done and was done because of that, not because these individuals all of a sudden became one with the teachings of Jesus Christ. All right. So now allow us to move down to the Emperor Emperor Theodosius, I can't pronounce his name, but I'll spell it for you. It's Theodosius in 380. So this was years after Constantine. He officially declared it. Constantine made it legal. He declared that it would be the state religion of Rome. And this is where you have the union, the inseparable union of the state and the church. Now allows the flaw to fall into the fatal flaw of the conservatives, and then we'll get on up out of here. The Christian conservatives love to claim God in everything that they talk about. They also simultaneously love to throw out numbers that represent black criminality while downplaying any criminality of any really other group, especially that of white people. And they also deny any of the criminality and any of the policies and procedures that was put in play by government that was indeed discriminatory and racist towards blacks. And again, I'm not caught up on the black and white thing. I'm just sharing with you why the fatal flaw of these conservatives and some of these black conservatives as well, because they go along with the game. Again, they deny any criminality, anything that was done by the government that aids and foments a type of likelihood of violence and or criminality. And this comes back to bite them when they have the unfortunate and disgusting situation of Charlie Kirk being assassinated live on air. One of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. And again, I have major differences with Charlie Kirk, especially when it came to the race hustling tactics and decontextualizing black criminality, meaning singling it out as if it's just part of what black people do without tying it to the greater context, which involves the society, which involves the government, which involves policies. And this is why they work so hard to push and try to get their conservative agenda across, because they know that policies matter. They don't want to be ill-affected by policy. So again, you decontextualize black criminality, but you contextualize the fact that you want to vote specifically for this specific individual because you know that the policies that these individuals pass forth have a trickle-down effect on all Americans. So again, you work to make sure that person get in. And I voted Republican because, again, the Democrats and what they are pushing and were pushing, I could not ride with at all. Not knowing the difference between a man and a woman, hypersexualizing children in grade school to homosexuality, open borders, none of that work. And I do have my issues with the conservative. I don't go based off a label. I base what it is that I am talking about and pursuing based off policy and reality. No matter who's in office, no matter who's running the government, both the parties are controlled and corrupted without a doubt. But at the end of the day, I felt the need to vote specifically based off 3 specific policies that were being promoted by the Republican Party. So when we look at this hyper-violent nation, because it is hyper-violent, it is a violent nation, it's a nation that was violent from its inception, born in violence, and continues in violence. But what happens, sadly, is when you continue to push narratives based on race or based on asexuality, etc., if it's not factual, it will come back to bite you. And this is why we must, and very few people will, because most of you are divided. I'm left, I'm right, and both of these parties are captured. And you continue to fight back and forth, and you continue to push agendas that eventually cause more violence, more divisiveness, and these things continue to happen, and you will continue to see the fallout, especially at the bottom with the continued violence. But every now and then you'll get one of these assassinations or assassination attempt due to the rhetoric that's being pushed forth on both sides of the equation. Both sides are culpable in these things. So again, what you have to do is you have to look at things from a point of view, in my opinion. You don't have to, from a baseline point of view, that we're dealing with truth and fact, and that's it. You can care less what's going on the right, who's delivering it, if it's truth, or the left, if they're delivering it and it's truth. But the situation is, the left and the right, they would not agree on truth if it's not coming from their specific ideology. And this is indeed detrimental to the fragile society that we have. We've never lived in a true democracy. However, we have had a great number of freedoms granted to us. We are not free, and we must come to understand that. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe,